What's up, Tube? Welcome back to Loadout's Chop Shop, second best gel blaster channel on the tubes. And today I've got a little case with the CO2 blaster in it. Now, this is a G17. This one came from Atomic Armoury. I don't know the original manufacturer of said blaster, so we'll just go with Atomic Armoury. I think someone told me that they might have been the same as the Wells. So one of the first things I noticed with this blaster, as soon as I get it out of the box, is it seems to lack a little bit of detail that some of the other blasters, like for example the P1. The P1 seems to have a much nicer detail on the frame, and it just feels nicer in the frame. The P1 doesn't come standard with a metal slide, and that slide does sound good, doesn't it? So I mean, that's one advantage, I guess, of this over the P1, is that you wouldn't have to spend money upgrading it because it's already comes with a metal slide. So that's pretty good. Another one of the competitor blasters is the APS, and one of the issues that the APS blaster has is that O-rings and seals and stuff tend to blow out a lot. So with this one, you put your little cylinder in here, and then with the Allen key you tighten that up there and push that up in there, and that seals on the top here. I think that's a slightly better system because there's no O-rings. I mean, well, there is seals and stuff in the valves here, but there's no excess O-rings down here that can blow out or break, and so that's kind of cool. However, I'm not a huge fan of the aesthetic of just having the bulb visible like that. So, I mean, that's it's here or there. I don't know. It depends on what you think of that. I mean, obviously that makes it easy to quick change. I do like that, but I also like the aesthetic of the mags that have got the solid sides. It looks cooler, I think. Alright, let's get this thing on a chrono. Alright, I'm going to load this up with some Gladiator gels, because that's probably what's recommended. That's what I would probably recommend with these GBB style blasters. I always go for the hard gels. 232, 224, 219, 221. I missed the box on that one. Oh, yeah, I just got to aim this down a little bit because I'm not getting them in the box. Alright, 244. 224. 222. 216. 225. 222. And we're out. Slides lock back. In operation, this seems like a pretty nice blaster. It doesn't seem to jam or have any problems cycling. Everything just seems to work. unlike the P1 where you got to spend a whole bunch of money buying parts and things to get it to work. However, I feel like the P1's better in external quality. One of the little things I noticed is that, like, with a Glock, with a real Glock, when you cock the pistol, the trigger actually comes forward, and then, like, it would sit back here somewhere, and then when you cock it, it actually clicks forward. And the P1 actually replicates that in operation. This doesn't. It just seems like the trigger just sort of sits there. Maybe it moves a little bit, but, like, I don't know, that center lock, this whole trigger assembly seems really janky. It's like wobbly, and that center safety thing seems like, I don't know if there's even a spring in there to, it's like when it's down it works, but most of the time it just doesn't even do anything. However, unlike the P1, this safety here, by sliding this back, actually works. That works. On the P1 that doesn't actually work. So on the P1, if you have it cocked and you put that safety on, it works. But if you don't have it cocked, that safety doesn't work. Whereas this one, the safety actually works even if it's not cocked. So that's a bonus, having a safety that's actually safe. Let's take a look inside. Like the P1, the slide removes quite easily. It's very similar to all the GBBs in operation. You've got your barrel assembly here, and your blowback unit there. It all seems seems like it could do with some lube. This is one thing I've noticed actually. All seems pretty standard, except this. In most of the GBBs that I've seen, this has like a little bearing or a ball here on the hammer. This one doesn't. It's got like a little flat piece. So as the slide comes back, I guess that would be tilted down. The slide would hit it. It would tilt and then push that down. That would reset the hammer. And I mean, traditionally on most other that would reset the trigger back to that forward position, but in this one it doesn't seem to make any difference at all, so not even sure why. It's all very similar. I mean, there's not a whole lot. When I do these teardowns, with the GBB stuff, there's not a lot to actually take down. So some people complain that my videos don't go into enough detail with the GBBs, but there's just not a lot to them. Let's have a look at this hammer unit, see if it's anything like the P1. I have a suspicion it's going to be pretty similar because they all sort of copy a design that's popular in airsoft. Alright, so I've always said when you're doing this, if you do this, be very careful of the spring here underneath this hammer reset, because it's very easy to lose. Alright, okay, so the sear is quite different to the P1. Let's zoom in. Alright, so if you look at the sear here, it's very the actual striking surface is very thin compared to the P1, and it doesn't have an allowance for the trigger bar to slide up over the top of that sear, which is probably why you don't get the trigger doing that funny reset thing that Glocks do. It's just because the hammer bar, the trigger bar, seems to have all the necessary bits to do it, but it just doesn't. You see in here when that trigger bar goes in there, it's literally all it's doing is just pushing that sear. It's not moving up and down. The P1 will actually click up above that sear and then reset when it's pushed down. Anyway, neither here nor there really. It's just something that I did notice. Overall, very similar blowback unit. Did notice that this pin is actually knurled on one end, which is something I haven't seen on the other GBBs. Just means that you have to take it out in the direction that it was intended. Alright, let's have a look at this barrel, shall we? Alright, I'm just gonna take this orange tip off just so that we can have a look at it. Alright, it's pretty standard looking thing. Let's measure this diameter, the ID of this. Alright, so looking at 7.5-ish, just under 7.5. There you go, 7.5. 7.5 millimeter internal diameter barrel. What's interesting is that they've used a plastic piece to fit it into what I would want to call the hop-up unit, even though it's not a hop-up. It seems like they've press fit and glued the alloy barrel into a little plastic end piece to go into the hop unit, which is interesting. I've not seen that done before that way. I mean, the P1 has a plastic barrel standard anyway, so it's got that similar sort of setup, but the rest of the barrel's also plastic. But yeah, that's interesting that it's been done that way. All right, let's put this back together. The outer barrel is aluminium. Alloy seems some sort of alloy. It's metal. Silver coloured. Seems pretty solid. It does have a small section of thread internally there, so you could thread on a I guess a hop-up unit or a suppressor or tracer or something along those lines. Handy to have. Alright, let's put it all back together. Oh, that comes out easy. It just sits in there. Expecting that to be like press fitted or something. Alright, back together. There it is. Well, my final thoughts on this is this better than a P1? Yes. In terms of out of the box value, you can buy this and it's pretty much ready to go, and off you go and you play. The P1 has a few other little things. I think the P1's got nicer details, but it's not ready by any means. With the P1, you've got to go out and you've got to buy a metal slide, you've got to buy a metal barrel, you've got to buy a sear, you've got to buy all these bits and pieces. You've got to spend another few $100s on top of what you've already spent. However, having said that, once you have spent all that money, you will have something that is quite nice, as good as this, and nicer quality as well, nicer details. But bang for buck, I think this one is the winner for sure. Bang for buck. You just buy this one and it's ready to go. I'm not a huge fan of using the disposable cartridges as a power source, but you know, it's good, gets the job done. I just would prefer if there was, I guess, less waste, less little disposable things. I like filling up from a canister, but yeah, like, it is a good out of the box solid performer, and I look forward to probably testing these out at some games soon. Yeah, don't forget to hit me up if you want to buy a patch on Facebook, or buy me a coffee. Links to all of that in the description. And also, I am giving away a GBB soon. So hit subscribe. Hit the subscribe button, because you're not going to find out the details on what you got to do to get that giveaway if you're not subscribed. Alright, thanks for watching, guys. Again, catch you next time. Peace.